And welcome to Strength Training for Runners, my second session. Today we're going to be having a look at a bit of hip work and just how we move that into some of the work that we did last week. So we're going to start on the floor. In the email, I mentioned that we need to bring along with us a ball or a bottle. So we're going to start with that little item, and we're going to put our feet against the wall. So lying on our backs, we're going to place the feet against the wall. Now, ideally, we want 90 degrees between the ankle, the knee, and the foot. So we're in like a tabletop position like this. Okay? So placing the feet against the walls. Now, in this position, we're just going to start off by finding this, okay? So we're going to push the feet, both the feet into the wall, and pull the heels down. Okay? From there, I want you to imagine you've got a bowl of water sitting on your feet. Okay, and we're going to very, very slowly tip the water into the left heel. Okay, so our left heel gets heavy and our right heel stays on the wall, but it feels lighter. Okay, and then we're just going to tip the bowl the other way. So pulling into that right heel, I can feel more work happening in this right-hand side, but my left-hand heel is staying very much on the wall. Okay, and then we're going to shift across and shift into the other foot. Okay, so just keep on working through those for just a moment. I'm just going to make sure that I pin myself here. Okay. Okay, super. Okay, so keep on going with that. So feet on the floor. Feet on the wall, sorry. Now, all we're going to do is we're going to take our ball or our bottle and we're going to place that between our knees just from here. Okay, now, with that same effort, or that ball or the bottle, whichever one you've got, I want you to think about pressing the feet into the walls and pulling the heels down. Okay, now we're going to tilt the water again, so spilling the water into that left heel. But this time, I want you to slowly draw the leg bone on the left back into the pelvis. Okay, so I'm still both feet touch the wall, but I'm feeling sort of like really into this left-hand side. From here, I'm going to push the left knee into the bottle, keeping the right knee up to the sky. And then I'm going to slowly spill that water from the left foot, keeping the heels heavy, into the right-hand side. And then drawing that right leg bone back into the pelvis. And suddenly we start seeing this shifting happening in the hips. Okay, keep squeezing that bottle, but make sure the knees are pointing up to the sky. And when you feel like you've got as far as you can, I want you to start tipping that water back into the opposite side and drawing that left leg bone back into the leg. Keep really squeezing into that bottle, but don't let the legs fall out to the side. Pulling back, back, back. Now, as I'm squeezing with that bottle and I'm drawing back, I'm feeling my groin on my left-hand side really firing. I feel heavy in the left heel. I feel hamstring heavy left. My back and my whole left side is pressing hard into the floor. Now I'm going to spill that bowl again, turning that into the right, drawing that right hip bone back into my pelvis. Left knee lifts up and we draw that right leg back in. I feel heavy right down my side. I feel my right groin firing and I feel heavy into my left heel. Okay, and we're just going to do a couple more reps here, repeating that same spilling the bowl into the left, drawing that leg bone back, feeling the groin, shifting over onto our left-hand side. I can literally feel that all up my left side. And then we're going to come down on the right. Now, if you place your hands onto your pelvis, I want you to check that your pelvis isn't lifting up closer to your ribs, okay? We want to push the pelvis back into the mat. Now, you might not have as much range as me. I have quite a lot because I've done this 1,000 times. But over time, I would like to see that you could have this much movement in your pelvis. Okay, last rep on the right-hand side. And then we're going to come into another little movement for the pelvis and drawing back into that. Okay, so we're going to sit up and we're going to put the feet into a 90-90 position out in front of us. Okay, so one knee's going in a straight line away, the other knee's coming down here. There's my 90 degrees. And then I've got the same thing happening at my knee and at my ankles. Okay, so I'm in a full 90-90. I'm going to put the hands behind the knees and I'm going to press heavy into the heels. And I'm just going to turn my knees from right to left. Okay, like a windscreen wiper action, but making sure the heels stay heavy. Okay, and those 90-degree angles stay exactly as they are. So keeping turning here and keep rotating here. Okay, we're just going to do 2 more here. And I'm shifting between my sitting bones. So I'm heavy right this one and then heavy left that one. Okay, so we're going to stop with the right leg down, left foot behind us. Okay, and we're just going to start working through some different types of ways of moving our leg bone in our hip. So the first one is sitting up nice and tall, hands either side of the front leg. We're going to try and lift the back foot off the floor. Okay, now this is quite a tricky move, so don't force it and contort your body to do it. Just see if you can get like the connection between the brain and that foot to lift the foot off the floor. And we're just going to hold it here for 6 seconds. Now you might have quite a lot of activity happening in that left hip. 3, 2, 1, and rest it down. Next, we're going to keep the foot heavy in the floor. Pelvis is going to stay where it is. I'm going to try and lift that left knee off the floor as high as we can get it. Now, if I turn, I can get loads of space here, but I want you to staying forward and really fight. Well, try and not let that sort of force that leg to come up, but try and stay relaxed at the same time. And then you start to feel this like tension. And then we're just going to hold it there for just a moment. And then we're going to come onto the front foot. Now, on this front foot, what we're going to do is we're going to lift the right leg off the floor. Okay? So lifting that right leg off the floor, all of it, the foot, the knee, everything is coming up. And we're going to sit really tall and try and bring the leg in towards our chest. We're just going to hold it here for 3, 2, 1, and release. Okay, my legs are shaking. Turning through the windscreen wipers again. We're just going to repeat the same thing on the other side. Often with pelvises, one side is very different to the other. Okay, so don't be surprised. So we're going to lift the right side, the right heel off the floor. Okay, as much as we can, keeping that right knee down. We're going to lift the heel up. Try not to sort of lift through the ankle. We want to see just how much range we can get at the hip. And 3, and 2, and 1. Okay, keeping the pelvis facing forward. Don't turn the pelvis with the leg bone. I want you to lift that leg bone up into that hip. And we're just going to hold it here. Okay, so lifting, lifting, lifting. We're going to hold it here. And we're just going to hold it for 3, 2, 1, and rest. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to lift up our front leg. So we're going to lift foot up, knee up, and sit into it. So do you imagine trying to bring the leg to us rather than duck forward into it? And sit, make it hard for yourself, okay? It doesn't matter how much range we have, we just want to do these exercises well, okay? And we're just going to hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release right there. Okay, these exercises are going to work really nicely as well, combined with if we've done some pelvic tilts before and just opening up with the breath. Right, we're going to come into standing. Now, last week we were looking at a kickstand hinge and we were looking at it in a free position here. We're going to have a little look today at a version which gives us a little bit less flexibility to cheat, okay? So we're going to come over to our wall and we're going to set our feet up just a little bit behind where our hips are, okay? So we're going to be sort of feet a little bit behind where the hips are. From here, I want you to get a really long spine. So I want you to imagine I've got a little piece of your hair and I'm pulling you forward, okay? Long spines are S-shaped spines. They're not long, flat spines or arched back spines. They're long spines. They're lovely S-shaped spines. So I've got my sitting bones. They're currently pointing sort of diagonally behind me, and I've got my arms against the wall. I'm going to very, very slowly push my hips back, keeping my knees bent and forward ever so slowly. Now, staying long, long, long. Often people will hear tuck under, okay? And I want you to think about where those, if we had lasers coming out our sitting bones, where they would be. Okay, so keep coming down. Now, I want you to very, very slowly move your weight onto your left foot and then slowly lift that right leg behind you, like into an RDL position here. Okay, and we should feel pretty loaded into that left-hand side. Now, we can always eke more out of this, okay? So in this position, you're here. I want you to think long spine, head reaching towards the wall, foot really nicely planted. Can I lift my sitting bone up any higher? Now, as I lift the sitting bone up, I don't want you to keep thinking about arching the back. Okay, we can steal a lot of sitting bone movement if we just arch the back. We stay long in the spine and we're going to tip. Okay, really load that glute. The leg should be trembling. Okay, double check the pelvis is flat and that you're not lifting out on the right hand side or dropping down onto the left. Okay, level pelvis, and we're just going to hold it here for a moment more. 5 and 4, try and stay relaxed. Make sure you're pushing through the floor with the forefoot and the heel. And 2 and 1, and then push to stand. Okay, place the other foot, the right foot back where the left foot is, so we know that the setting up's correct. And all we're going to do is come up to the top and slowly hinge backwards, hips coming back, staying long in the spine. Okay, from here, we're going to find that golden thread pulling us forward. So the elbows might bend, and then we're going to move onto the right foot, and we're going to slowly lift that foot up behind. Okay, in this position, we want to check, is our pelvis level? Can we feel the heel and the forefoot in the floor? And are we lifting up those sitting bones as high as they can go? Okay, you can always push through the arms a little bit and see if you can get more into that. But you want to make sure your foot pressures, okay, your pelvis position and your knee being as bent as it can be, and then lifting up that sitting bone, trying to get that laser up. Okay, and we're just going to hold it here, make it hard. See if you can tuck the pelvis a tiny bit and see if that makes a difference. We'll see if you can lift up the sitting bone any higher. And we're just going to hold it here for 4, 3, 2, and 1, and push back up to stand. Okay, the second exercise in this superset is going to be use a co-contraction of our lower leg. Now, when we talk about co-contractions, what we want to think about is when we come through running gait, before we land, we want a pre-tensioning of our leg. Okay, so whether you heel strike or forefoot strike doesn't really matter. That changes when we sprint, when we walk, or when we jog. What matters is that we get this pre-tensioning. Our body anticipates landing. The center of mass then comes over the top here. Okay, we talked about this last week with the hinge. And then the next thing to happen is as we drive the knee through, the leg stays bent. We come through toe off, and then we get hip extension, leg extension, okay? So it's a last minute thing. We push, so then we're forcing the hip forward first, then we get that knee extension. And this exercise that we're going to be doing now is going to be working on that. So we're going to come onto the floor, back onto the floor, and this time we're going to set up, but with in that 90-90, but we're going to make it a slightly longer lever. Okay, so we're going to have like a bit more of an opening in the hips here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to place one foot against the wall. Actually, we'll stick with 2, go with 2 feet, and we're going to push up into a bridge. Now, in this position, my pelvis is very heavy, okay? I'm sort of hanging on with the feet. And then I'm going to slowly bring my left foot in towards my body. Now, without losing anything at the pelvis, we're going to lift onto the tip of the toe, okay? And we're going to come into sort of a calf bridge, very sorry. And then I want you to slowly lower that heel down all the way to the wall, gently touch the wall, and then come back up. Now, nothing in my lower leg is changing, okay? The position of my leg isn't changing. My pelvis isn't changing, but my foot is changing, okay? I'm coming into toe off. Now, I want you to imagine there's a little cross behind your heel, okay? Little cross behind your heel, and you're reaching for that cross with every single drop down, okay? And then as we come up, we come through that big toe. So reaching down with the heel, and then we're going to lift up on the big toe, coming down with the heel. And we're just going to do a couple more just here. And for 4 and 3, and the reaching back up to the top is as important as the coming down. And last one here. And you can see my legs trembling as I do these. Okay, so pushing up back onto the other side, right foot comes in, and then we're going to come into these reps. So reaching the heel away. My pelvis is low and heavy, so I'm not using my glutes for this bridge. I'm using all the muscles in my limb, staying really nice and stiff and controlled, but allowing a toe off to happen. Okay, and 4 and 5. Lovely. You can actually see how it feels if you take that knee a little bit further away from the body. And 6 and 7. Reaching with that heel. Make sure you're not squeezing your bum and gripping your pelvic floor. Make sure everything around the pelvis is nice and relaxed. And 2. And last one here. Okay, great. Coming back into the hinge. So we're supersetting these 2 exercises. So hands come against the wall. You can try it, like for me on my floorboards, I sort of know where my feet need to be after that last set. So feet together, sitting bones come back. I'm going to slowly walk the hands down the wall, keep the knees forward, and find the whole padding of the foot on the floor. From here, without letting anything change in my body, I'm going to shift ever so slightly onto my left foot and slowly lift my right foot up. From here, I'm going to sit into that hip sitting bone. Now, just a couple of things to check in on. Is your knee forward? Is your pelvis level? And are you pushing through your whole foot? Okay, can you feel yourself trying to push through the floor and then at the same time lift up the sitting bones? Okay, this time because I'm slightly fatigued, I'm starting to get like quite a lot of trembling. Okay, and we're just going to hold here nice and relaxed for 4, long spine, don't let the back arch, 3, 2, and push to stand. Okay, place that foot, the other foot down, come up with the hands, and then we're slowly going to stick those sitting bones back. Knee stays forward, sitting bones come up. From here, we're going to shift onto this right foot. Try not to let anything change in the upper body and arms. Okay, and we're going to come into that like leg raise here. Now, as soon as we lift up, we should feel this in our glutes. If you don't, a couple of things to check. Am I actually pushing into the floor, or am I sort of just hanging out there? Okay, I want an active push through the forefoot and the heel. Okay, imagine you've got an orange under the arch of your foot and you're squashing that in. Make sure the pelvis is level. Make sure the knee is coming towards the big toe. And the last one on this side to check is that your right hip isn't creeping up towards your ribs. Okay, that can be quite a common one. And we're going to push hard through the floor, lifting the sitting bone up high, pushing hard. And for 5, 4, 3, keep coming forward with the knee, sitting bone up. And we're going to push to stand. Okay, taking a mat, we're going to come back into our co-contractions. Now, I'm going to talk through these ones a little bit faster because we just want to start building up that sort of like muscle activity going on. So coming onto the back, lying on the floor. Okay, 2 feet up, we're going to push up into that bridge. From here, we're going to draw in a leg. I think I'm going to go for the left leg again just to start here. Okay, and then we're going to lift into that top position, slowly reach the heel down. Come up into that top position, slowly reach the heel down. Up through the big toe, down, reaching for that cross. And then we just keep on going through the reps. That's 6. Nice and relaxing the pelvis. Check you're not gripping your glute and like holding on tight to your pelvic floor. Let's see if we can create stiffness in our lower limb without creating tension across the rest of our body. And for 5, 4, 3, and 2, and last one here. Lovely, coming down, pushing back up into that bridge. Right leg comes in. It's like a whole different experience for me on this left-hand side. And then we're going to reach away. So big toe, heel drops. Big toe, then back into that heel. Pelvic floor and glute off on this left-hand side. Can you actually relax those and let them go and trust your lower limb to hold in this position? Okay, keep on coming through these. Lovely. And we're just going to go for another 5 and 4 and 3 and 2. And last one here, and 1. Beautifully done. Okay, back into our hinges. So in from here, feet coming back to the position we were in. We're going to slowly walk our hands down, staying long in the spine. Don't let the pelvis tuck, or arch the back, okay? Meet yourself where you are. Don't push it too hard. From here, once we feel everything like our sitting bones loaded, see if you can push the ribs back, okay? Then in this position, we're going to slowly lift up a leg. Okay, I'm going to show you these from the side just so you can see what my spine position looks like. So from here, you can see I've got like this long spine, okay? Sitting bones up, but you can see the S shape of my spine, okay? And then I just keep pushing through the floor with that foot, lifting the sitting bone up, and I can really feel the work happening in that left-hand glute. Okay, staying in here, and we're going to stay for 3, pushing through the foot. Make sure we're coming into the forefoot heel, orange under the foot, and then we're going to push to stand. Okay, always when we push to stand, we hold that knee forward. Okay, remember when I demonstrated earlier, we have coming from here, as we come across the foot, we want the hip to extend, so the hip to open, and then only very last minute, we're going to use that final push of the knee straightening to get us forward, okay? So that little free energy push. So coming from here, knees together, sitting bones up, and we're going to move into that right foot. Now make sure with this knee that we don't drop the right knee out to the side. We want the knee forward and the pelvis away from the ribs, okay? Holding on tight into here, pushing hard through the whole foot, reaching away with the arms, and we're going to really load. Okay, check the position of the pelvis. Check that you're not coming out of it with that leg, but instead you're coming into it as hard as you can. Okay, and we're going to push for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then push to stand. Okay, last little set of our final exercises, which are our calf raises. So take your mat out, okay, and coming down on the floor. We're going to place the feet against the wall. Remember, with this one, we have a slightly longer lever than 90-90. Okay, this time we're going to reach the arms up. We're going to push into that bridge, and off we go. So 1, actually, I'll go right first, and 2, and 3. Try not to sort of grip around the knee. Okay, the knee is like we've got all the muscles contracting, but it's very easy to push that into a knee. Okay, we want to make sure that we've got hamstring and calf working. And there's 6, 7, and 8, and 9, and last one here, and 10. Switching round onto the other side, we're pulling into the left, and off we go for 1, and 2, 3, and 4, and 5. And just imagine, does it feel different with the arms reaching? Can you feel more happening in the sort of back? Do you feel more grounded? And 3, and 2, and last one here. Okay, we've got 7 minutes. And we're just going to finish with 2 little abdominal exercises. Okay, the first we did last week. We reached the arms up from here, and then we came into that heel tap. Then, after the first set of those, we're going to come into a little crunch type movement, and I'll coach you that when we get there. But just so you know, so 4 exercises, we're going to superset them, so we're going to go back to back. So reaching with the arms up, knees come into 90-90. We have pelvis and ribs connecting to the floor and a tiny little ant's path under the back. From here, we're going to slowly, with an exhale, lower the leg down, and then the opposite leg on an exhale down. So that's 1 and 1. If your back clicks like mine, you probably need to add a little bit more of an exhale. Okay, but don't worry about it too much. The stronger you get, that should clean up. In my case, it hasn't really, but some days it's better than others. And then nice smooth exhale coming back. Now make sure in these positions your pelvis just doesn't move, okay? This is not only working our abdominal muscles, it's also working our hip extension, okay? Being able to hold our pelvis still and extend our hip, okay? And last 2 here, and then last one here. Okay, next up, we're gonna bring one leg in, okay? We're gonna point the elbows up to the sky, okay? Not open, they're to the sky. And then I want you to draw with your outside elbow a nice circle. So we do a big circle, keep that knee away, sorry. Now, as we come back down, we don't drop and sort of at the bottom. It's a continuous movement of rotation. So my shoulders don't fully come back onto the floor. And 4, keep the elbows pointing to the sky. And 5, and 6, and 7, and last one here, and 8. Okay, onto the other side, same thing again, knee stays away, and we're going to rotate for 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Make sure the elbows, both elbows stay pointing forward, 5, and 6, and 7. You can add a little inhale up, exhale down, and 8. Okay, back we come. Now, if you have got a water bottle, or if you've got weights to hand, it can be quite nice to hold the weight overhead here, and then reaching with these for 1. So we reach the weight up to the sky. Imagine the shoulder blades reaching from the sky, and 2, and 2, and 3, and 3. Make sure your ribs are back. 4, 4. Big exhales coming down. 5, and 5, 6, and 6, and 7, and 7, and last one here, and 8, and 8. Now, I don't know about you, but my abs are absolutely killing me. So here we go. Right leg, left leg comes in, elbows come to the sky. We're going to turn for 1, a nice smooth. We just want everything in our bodies to glide. 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and last one here, and 8. Okay, switching on to the other side. Knee stays away, elbows point to the sky, and we turn and rotate. Try and keep the shoulders off the floor if you can. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And last one here, and 8. Wash. Okay, for this last set, if you're one of those people who feels like they have a little bit of like a like pooch in their lower abs, a really nice thing to add to these is like a little pelvic floor lift. Okay, so we before we take the exhale, we're going to lift the pelvic floor and then come into that for 1, and 1. Okay, and you might feel this further down into your deep abs. And 2, there we go, my clicking's finished. 3, and 3, and 4, and 4, and 5, and 5. Lovely. Here we go. Nice smooth exhales coming down. 6, and 6, 7, 7. Hold that pelvis nice and tight into the floor. 8, and 8. And we just want to keep the ribs back. Okay, last little circuit onto these. Okay, we've got approximately just a minute and a bit. So here we go. Reaching 1. Oh my God, can I finish these? 2. Try not to drop the shoulders down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Keep the knee away. And 8. Whoa. Okay, onto the other side. Here we go. 1. Whenever I get into this point, I just think to myself, oh, it's like the last painful kilometer of any run. 2, 3, and I can do it. 4, 5, I think anyway. 6, no, I definitely can. Here we go. 7, and last big one, and 8. Okay, coming onto the floor. Okay, so that's where we already are on the floor. We're going to place the hands on the pelvis, and we're just going to finish off with some little pelvic tilts. Okay, so coming back to an analogy with some water, I want you to imagine your pelvis is a bowl, and I want you to reach the pelvis away and then draw it towards you. Now, because we've just done some ab work, it's always nice to have a little stretch of the abs. So if we add an inhale as we reach the pelvis away and let the tummy expand, and draw back as we exhale. For some people, being able to breathe into their belly is easy. For others, it's almost impossible. For some people, it's very easy also to draw the pelvis back and like relax the spine into the mat with using the pelvis. And for other people, they have to use glutes and abs. So I want you to really think about this being like a no tension created, beautiful little roll back and forth, just to finish there. And well done. If you've got any questions, let me know. And well done.